Hi, I'm Dinah Scalia. Welcome to Cooking by the Sea with Chef Di. Today I have with me my handsome, fabulous nephew, Harrison Cook. I call him Harry. And he has cooked with me from the time he was not this tall. When he was around 2 years old, we started bringing him into the kitchen to bake Christmas cookies with us and help in the kitchen. He came to my house, a little apron for him. So we've been together as partners in the kitchen for a very long time.
Good
Do you
long
remember
while.
that? Do you remember that?
Yeah, bits and pieces here and there.
I could tell some stories. There was one, actually you weren't here for this, but one time I had made cookies and your mom said, Auntie Di made cookies, we're gonna go over to her house. So you come over to the house and you can't get a word in edgewise because we're talking and you can't get my attention. And finally you say, Auntie Di, can I have a cookie? And I said, yes, you can. So you took the biggest cookie from the plate, but you didn't finish it. It was too much for you.
It's only two, got a small stomach.
We always knew there were always fresh cookies and fresh baked stuff going around when you were little. And we tried to train you very young. So today I've invited him to make one of my favorite specialties called love knots. And they're very, very simple. He's way advanced for this, but he's going to help me with these because they're so special anyway. They have basically 3 ingredients. We have puff pastry sheets on the cutting board here. So these are, we're just gonna demonstrate this very quickly. We have Hershey's Kisses that are in the bowl here. And these are milk chocolate Hershey's Kisses, the traditional ones. You could use the dark chocolate ones. You could use little baby Reese's peanut butter cups for these. You could do a variety of things. And then here we have a bowl of cinnamon sugar. It's mostly sugar and some cinnamon. And here's what we're gonna do. So you're gonna follow what I do. So take your pastry piece,
okay.
And we're going to, I took the paper off.
All right.
So you're gonna cut it down and down the center with your paring knife.
All right, just in
All
half,
right.
even halves?
Yes. And then you're gonna cut each of those halves in thirds, all right? So you're gonna have 6 pieces total. And love knots came about originally, ladies and gentlemen, Harry, when I went to Italy. I went to Torino, I call it, Italy for the first time, and this was in 2006. So I had a very romantic date there. I had a chocolate drink and we ate this chocolate cake. And I came home and they had a website that wasn't real. This was kind of when the internet was still not so advanced, and they didn't have the chocolate cake recipe, but they had a recipe for something like this. And they said, put chocolate in pastry and roll it. No, they didn't say roll in sugar. Put chocolate in pastry and bake it till it's swollen.
Swollen.
Is how it translated.
Brilliant.
And I said, I can do that. So I was about to cater Christmas parties, and I thought, let me think of how I can do this. So I took Hershey's Kisses, like we're gonna do right now. So you take each piece and stretch it out a little bit.
Okay, should we bit?
Yeah, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna put the kiss in the middle, and then bring up the sides and kind of twist it around to secure the kiss in there, and pinch it so that it stays together. You don't want anything to fall apart or fall open when you bake it. And then put it in the bowl, and we're gonna toss that, and just toss it in cinnamon sugar, is what you do. Now, I have some that I made already that are gonna go on, that we're gonna bake together. These were made in advance, and there's a bee on that one, so we're gonna put that one aside. Very nice, here out Cooking by the Sea. So just roll it in sugar, and then place it on the pan. We can place these kind of close together because they're not going to expand or anything.
Spread that far?
Space there. That's fine. Mm-hmm. And so we're just going to keep doing that. We're just going to repeat that process. Now, my point was, where was I in my story? I was saying that, so I baked these until they were swollen or whatever. So I made them. I used to just make them just like this without rolling them in cinnamon sugar. And then when I was at the bar, when I was the Spanish bar chef, I thought, you know what? I should bring those love knots out and I should bake them for my bar guests. So I thought, you know what would be good is if they were rolled in cinnamon sugar. So I started making them that way, and I offered them as a free thank you. I called them my love note of appreciation for my guests, and they were so popular. Then what I decided was, you know what I wonder what would happen if you put them in the sugar and they stayed in the cinnamon sugar overnight. So this really was the best idea ever. And I decided that what happens is the sugar kind of caramelizes after that. So the first round that we have here, where they slept in the cinnamon sugar. So when people ask me how I made them, and the ones I served at the bar usually had slept in the cinnamon sugar, they really like that report on how to make love knots. I said they're best if they sleep in the cinnamon sugar.
That's just overnight, right?
Overnight is
Okay.
best. Yeah, you don't want to keep them in there too long because they get kind of funky.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
so just overnight at most. So these make those are really cute. Those are like little. Yours are like special. How are you doing
Why,
those?
thank you.
And so they're just as easy like as ever. So everybody can make love knots. Let's talk about puff pastry for a minute. I used to buy Pepperidge Farm puff pastry sheets, which you can do. You just cut them in little squares to make these love knots. But an international market, John's International Marketplace, we have a Persian grocery store here, market. They sell puff pastry squares like we're using today. And that's what I really prefer. The nice thing about those is that you can pull out a couple as you need them and thaw them out and leave the rest in the freezer. It's harder to do with the puff pastry sheets,
Yeah, yeah.
to kind of portion what you want to use. So there's your little tip for puff pastry. And the recipe for this, the love knots, all of the details and the rest of the story is in
Right there?
the link is in the comments. What we're going to do is you can eat those if you want. Those are extra. We didn't bring pastry for those. Those are just like for snacks. We can bake these 400 degrees for about 13 minutes. And we're going to go pop these in the oven. And when we come back, we're going to try some love knots.
Sounds good.
Right. Hey, we're back. So here are our love knots. And when we went to get these out of the oven, we had a little surprise, yeah?
A little bit, yeah.
So what happened was the ones, remember I said there were some that had slept in the sugar overnight? They were at this part of the pan. When we pulled them up, they had kind of caramelized all over the pan. Like I didn't want to show you that, and this hasn't really happened before. However, I guess it could happen. And then it kind of offered this spun sugar kind of detail when I took them off of the pan. So I just thought I would share that with you. I like to be like fully transparent in my cooking lessons. So there's a little bit of spun sugar on the top of some of these, and their appearance is a little different than the ones that we made together. But Harry, what do you think? Which one do you think you want to try first?
I like a little bit of dark sugar. I like that caramel, so I'm probably
yeah.
gonna go for this one here.
I think I'm gonna try one of those too. This is gonna be.
It's got like a
or you know what? You try that one. Let me touch them all. You try. I'm gonna try this little baby one up here.
Sounds good.
Because we're about ready to have lunch. So I'm gonna. So go ahead and have a like. Here's cheers to our little love knots. Let's see how these taste. They don't even taste very sweet. Does yours taste sweet? It's a milk chocolate pastry which isn't sweetened. And rolled it in some sugar. But they're just kind of just sweet enough, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely not sickeningly or anything.
You could eat a lot of these.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
when I used to give 2 to my guests, for a couple, they would clamor for more. So I had them on top of my little stovetop, and I would just give them out till they were gone. I didn't make any more once they were gone. So when people were really greedy, then the other people didn't get any. But
dog eat dog kitchen.
They're a much coveted sweet, and they're super simple to make. Children can make them. Oh, my favorite story. I'll share one story, and then we'll go. There was a couple that I catered for, and they had a little girl. I can't remember her name. She was about 8 years old, and she was so excited that Chef Dai was like in her house, and she'd heard her parents talk about me, and she was so excited to be around me, and she wanted to help. So I found all these little things to do, like kind of when you were little, for things to, she could help me with. And then they had a party, and I had her in the kitchen with me early to make the love knots. And I said, sweetie, when we go to serve these tonight at the party, you can serve them. So we baked them, and then I gave her a lightweight, plate where she could go around and say that she had made the love knots. It was so adorable. We made them together. So they entertain children of all ages, let's just say that. So I hope that you've enjoyed this very simple recipe for love knots. We had Hershey's Kisses, puff pastry, cinnamon sugar, and you're good to go.
Easy.
All right, so thank you. The recipe for love knots is there. The link is there in the comments. And thank you for watching. We will see you next time on Cooking by the Sea.
Bye.